story which we are going to explain is actually a love story of a teacher who realized a few days ago that what she is doing is right for her, but in the eyes of society it is a big crime. Layla is a 38-year-old teacher who got divorced a few days ago. She is going somewhere in a train. Meanwhile, on the other side we see this Smith, who is the second character of this story, who is sitting alone in his room and is thinking and at the same time looks very nervous. On the other side, Layla reaches her school where the principal welcomes her and also introduces her to all the staff and also tells her in which class she has to study. Now we see that Layla is the class teacher of the same class in which Smith is studying, but the first impression of both of them is not very good because Smith is very rude and does not talk much. Now after school is over, we see Smith's family, who are very insecure about him because his elder son is still in jail for smuggling and they do not want him to become like him, and that is why they keep changing his school again and again so that his performance improves, but there is no improvement. When the matter gets out of hand, he gets angry and leaves from there and goes outside and does the same thing which his brother does, i.e. moving drugs from here to there for money. So he gets angry and leaves from there and goes outside and does the same thing which his brother does, i.e. moving drugs from here to there for money, but he is not doing all this for himself. It is his dream, so that he can educate his younger sister in a good school because his parents don't have that much money. The story moves forward and the next day also Layla does not pay much attention to Smith, and in a while the class ends. During that time the school's saucer player introduces himself to Layla and also invites everyone for lunch, which Layla accepts. Smith and his friends talk about the new class teacher. Now when it is night, Layla is missing her mom, so she calls her and starts talking to her, in which her brother also joins in, but the scene was different at Smith's house. He comes home very late. So his mother explains that you should leave your friends and make friends with some good boys. That is not right, but Smith shouts at them and goes to his room. Next, when his class ends, he asks Layla for help in writing an essay, so she says tell me on which topic to write, but Smith tells that he does not want to write on such personal matters. That is why he cannot tell her because he does not even know her, so she replies by saying tell me, what do you want to know about me? Actually she wants that there should be a good bonding between her and her student because she is new and does not have much interaction with anyone. No. But Smith doesn't tell her and leaves from there. However, she follows him. She thinks that maybe he has felt bad, but then a teacher named Fashion stops her and says that you should not waste your time on these dull students, nothing will happen to them. But Layla was confident and will behave well with all her children and will live with them like a friend. That's why she checks the benchmark of all the children tomorrow, that is, their personal details which were taken while taking admission. From which she comes to know that Smith is new, and in this she comes to know that Smith is a new student in the school and he had fought a lot in his previous school, that's why he was expelled. After that she calls everyone and listens to the poetry written by them. In this way, one by one, Smith's turn comes, and when he recites his poetry, Layla gets lost in it for some time. Whatever he felt right now, he did not understand anything. Well, he submits his homework and starts leaving. Then she stops him and praises his poetry and says that whatever emotion you have inside you, you should share it with someone. You will feel good by doing this, but Smith has never done anything like this and it is clear from his expression that he will never do it again. Now on going home, Layla finds divorce papers sent by her ex-husband which she had already signed, but she keeps them aside. Anyway, after a few days Andrew, who was the soccer coach, invites Layla for dinner tonight. She had no one with her anyway, so she says yes and then goes to her class where we see a little casual bonding between Layla and Smith for the first time. He shares some things with her and then goes to his house, but Layla goes from there for dinner where she spends a good time with Andrew, but in the meantime he sees her dancing, but he does not disturb her. He just keeps watching. Next day when she comes to school, she sees Smith dancing in her class. After banging the bus he is going somewhere. When the school gets over he comes running back and says sorry to her. But Layla explains him that she had stopped just for him so that she can teach him. She is not well anyway, so she is joking with him. I say that I am hungover, I drank too much last night. Now she gets surprised to hear this and asks what are you saying? Then Smith says that I saw you last night in the bar. Layla starts laughing and asks him not to tell this to anyone. But meanwhile, both of them have a nice conversation. Now late at night, we see that Layla is talking to her mother about her date. Then Smith comes to the gate. But looking at him, it seemed as if someone has hit him very badly. She asks him to come inside immediately and bandages his wounds. She also asks him the reason for this. But Smith does not tell anything and starts leaving. But she stops him and says that it is late. I will drop you. On the way, Layla asks him about his family. But he does not tell anything and gets out of the car because it was raining heavily outside. Now the weather has become very nice. Layla did not want to come out at first, but she comes after some time. Now seeing her, Smith asks if she will teach him the dance which she was doing that day in the bar. Saying this, he starts coming close to her, but Layla moves away from him and comes and sits in the car. Now before dropping him home, she explains to him that it is better if the relationship between us is teacher and student. Hearing this, Smith does not reply and leaves. Now the next day, Layla does not pay much attention to him, and Smith also notices this. Thinking that he will not trouble her without any reason, he comes home where his mother sees his grades, which things were much better than before. That's why she gets very happy and says that I am happy that you are focusing on studies. Then Smith says that all this has happened because of that new teacher. She teaches me. Now hearing this, she says that then I should meet her. Now that night she and Andrew go on a date again where Smith was also there, but Layla gets fed up with Andrew's boring talks and his questions and goes to the washroom where Smith also follows her and starts kissing her when she comes out. Now here Layla also cannot stop herself, but later she realizes that she is doing wrong. That's why she comes straight to her place. On the other hand, seeing Andrew sitting alone, Shayin comes and sits next to him and starts telling him about Smith and the student. If it is said in clear words, she was instigating him against him. On the other hand, Smith now reaches Layla's house, but she has closed the gate. She opened the door after he asked her 1,000 times. Smith told her that he had not come here to hurt her but to make her understand that he had started liking her. But Layla asked him to stay away because if she came close to him, her life would be full of troubles, and asked him to leave immediately. But both of them understand each other's feelings very well. They also know that they like each other, due to which they could not control themselves for long and came close to each other. In the morning, Layla asked him to promise that he would not tell this to anyone. Now the scene shifts and we see him sitting in the school. Then Shayin comes to him and tells him that she and Andrew are now dating each other. She is very happy to hear this and congratulates him. On the other hand, we also see Smith, who goes to his smuggler friends and borrows some money and comes back to the school. When Andrew meets Layla, he asks her about her mom. Actually he likes her, but he also has a compulsion. That is why Shayin was right. Then Smith comes there and she goes with him, which is not good for Andrew. It seems that somewhere she was jealous. Now both of them are sitting in the class when Smith gives her a gift, which was a gold chain, and he had bought it with the same borrowed money which Layla likes very much. He proposes her, but she just smiles and does not reply, but Smith moves forward to kiss her, but Layla stops him, saying that we have to remain normal outside so that no one knows anything but outside. Both of them have a lot of fun together, roam around together, eat and drink, and this story goes on like this. But if there is no sorrow in love, then it is not considered complete. Now both of them go out of the city for a walk and click some photos. During that time they talk a lot, and then Smith also shares about his family. After that Layla goes to her home, but Smith is caught by some friends from whom he had borrowed money. Now she gives him an address where she has asked him to go to meet her. He had to deliver the goods, but now Smith has left this job, but he is not able to tell them about this. Now when he comes home and goes to freshen up, his mother sees some photos with Layla in his phone, which makes her very happy because they do not know that she is his class teacher. Next day during PTM, Layla goes to take a file of Smith where he tells her that whatever happened between us does not affect our friendship. I am still your good friend. Then she smiles and leaves from there. On the other hand, when Smith's mother sees all the parents talking to Layla, she gets some doubt in her mind whether this is the same girl whom she saw in the photo with Smith that day. Next day when her turn comes, she comes to know that this is the same girl. Then what? She gets very angry at him and says that she sent her son here, he was sent to study well, and you are wasting his time, you should finish this thing as soon as possible, otherwise I will tell everyone. Saying this she leaves in anger. Then the principal comes there, and seeing them going in such anger, she asks the reason. Then Layla lies that she just had to go somewhere. That's why she was in a hurry. On the other hand, when Smith returns home at night, his mother shouts at him a lot and says that you have to end all this because she is your teacher, and Smith says that here the matter is not about teacher and student. But I love her and I can do anything for her. His dad was in his support because his son had improved because of Layla, but his mother was not ready to believe this. On the other hand, Layla also tells her mother, who gets very angry with this and says that you should have thought before doing this. Even her brother was not in her support. Which means that Layla is now alone. She has to choose either her love or her family. Smith's mom keeps explaining to Vaki that what will happen if your daughter marries a middle-aged man tomorrow. He also understands that this thing is wrong somewhere, that's why he doesn't say anything. Meanwhile, Smith goes to Layla's house to talk to her, but she asks him to leave from there because she doesn't want to lose her job. Now there is a lot of argument between the two, but finally Smith has to leave, but after a few hours when he leaves a note on her gate with sorry written on it, seeing which Layla opens the gate. Smith is standing outside with flowers for her. Both of them spend the night together and the next day they think what they should do. Then Smith says that I have some money. We will take it and go somewhere far away, but Layla refuses because right now they should think with maturity. For now, both of them when they reach school, Andrew gets very angry seeing them talking. Shayan provokes him because of which he gets angry. Like when Layla is working late at night. He comes to her and forces himself on her and does bad things with her, but Joe gets very angry when he sees Layla's condition. I come, but she explains to him that she knows something about us, so you should not do anything. He agrees to her and sits there and hugs her, but he is not able to control his anger for long. When he sees Andrew the next day in school, he attacks him fatally, due to which the police has to be called there, who arrest Smith and take him away. Now after a few days when Smith is released, Layla is waiting for him outside, but his mother comes and takes him with her. This hurts Layla a lot. That is why she goes home and calls Andrew and asks him to meet at a place and tells him that if I want, I can register a complaint against you because the place where you did force. There were cameras installed there. I have the footage of that. That is why it is better that you take back your complaint against Smith. Now he was helpless, so he does not agree with her. Let's accept it had been many days since they met. Smith did not even come to class. That's why Layla started to feel that whatever she did was wrong. She ruined not only her own life but also Smith's life, so she decides to spend her life in some other city. Then Smith comes to her and cries a lot on seeing her. Then he sees her packing. He asks her where she is going. Layla tells him that her train is at 2 o'clock and she is going somewhere else. Hearing this, Smith breaks down completely and begs her on his knees to not leave him. But Layla explains to him that your life has just begun. You have a lot to do. Study and earn good money. But Smith needs Layla's support right now. He has improved a little, but Layla has taken a decision. So Smith comes home and starts crying. His mom knew about this. That's why she also tells him the same thing. Life hasn't ended yet. Who knows where else you will go. The heart will break. There we see Layla, and this was the same scene which we saw in the beginning of the story, and she sees that poetry after listening to which for the first time that feeling for Smith was born in her heart. There Smith also cries a lot and stays in his room. For him this was probably the first time when his heart was broken which he has felt properly. Sometimes we should leave some relationships incomplete. It is good for both of us because not everyone gets